Today I am going to present my lecture on organization behavior unit first. So before knowing the organization behavior, you should know the organizations. If we talk about the organization according to the Zhari zone are social invention for accomplishing a goal through the group efforts. This definition covers a wide variety of the group such as businesses, schools, hospitals, fraternal groups, religious body, governmental agency and the like. Means where people working together, that is called organizations. There are the three significant aspects of these definitions. The first one is a social invention, the second one is accomplishing goal, and the third one is a group efforts. The social invention means here the people working together in an organization, the people working together, that is called a social invention, and they are working together for what? For accomplishing a goal. They have a certain goal, they have a certain object they have to accomplish. That's why they are working. And the group efforts, the third one. Group efforts means there is a synergistic effect, the 2 plus 2 equal to 5, not 4. Means the people working collectively perform better rather than people working individually. If the 4 people working collectively, they will perform better rather than the 4 people perform individually. So that means a group efforts. Now the managers in organizations. The 4 managerial functions: planning, organizing, directing, controlling, performed by manager in the organizations, and there are 10 managerial roles that are commonly defined, and these roles deal with the people and behavior. These roles, the main 3 roles are the interpersonal role, informational role and decisional role. Now some function of managers, the managerial function of organizations. So we talk about the managerial function of organization. First we talk about these are the planning, organizing, directing, controlling, that is called a post-corp. Now first we talk about the planning. Planning is a predetermined future course of action. That in planning we have to make the plan for the future action, that what is to be done and how is to be done, and the planning will provide a map or a blueprint for the future action. That is called a planning. Now we'll talk about the organizing. First the planning is completed. Organizing, it is the delegation of the authority and the responsibility. Means here we will delegate the authority and responsibility. The manager will perform that function, and the manager will delegate the responsibility and authority to all the subordinate and employee of the organizations. And it is also called a departmentation. Means here he will make the departmentation, that if we are talking about any organization, in organization they have a finance department, they have a marketing department, they have a HR department, they have a lot of IT department, etc. So here to put a right people to the right job at a right place, that is called organizing. So manager will perform function as a organizations. Directing. Now the third one, directing includes the leadership, communication, motivation and supervision. So in directing, the manager will perform all these functions. Means here the manager always lead, guide, motivate the subordinate to work in an efficient and effective way in organizations. The communication manager will transmit all the information from management to the employee. That is called a communication. There should be a proper communication between the management and the employee. Then the motivation. In simple word, the unsatisfied need of a pupil, that is called a motivation. And to satisfy the unsatisfied need of a motivations. So here they will motivate the employee or the subordinate through the different types. They can make a positive motivation, they can make a negative motivation, they can make a extrinsic motivation, they can make a intrinsic motivations. So these are the types of motivation. They can motivate the pupil always to do the work in organizations. And the supervision, the last but not the least, the supervision, it is also performed by the manager. That here the manager always supervise the subordinate and employee of the organization, that how is to be done, how is to do the work, and they always initiate the subordinate that they cooperate to subordinate, and they coordinate with the subordinate to perform their work in a more smooth way. Fourth one, that is a controlling. This is a fourth function of the organizations. The manager will perform this function. It is to match the actual performance with the standard performance and take the corrective actions. It means that first you should know that what is the actual performance and the standard performance. Standard performance means what we have decided in a planning. In first point, planning, we have decided the standard performance, and after the planning, organizing, directing, we have to make the follow-up. So that is called the actual performance, and here we will match the actual performance with the standard performance. If there is any deviation, if there is any problem, then we will take the corrective action. So this is all about the managerial functions of organizations. Now the managerial rules of organizations. So here the first role is the interpersonal role. Under this role there are three roles. The first one is a figurehead role. Figurehead means the manager interact with the pupil and perform the social and the legal obligation within as well as outside the organization. Means here the manager will always interact outside the organizations, and as well as he will perform the social function and the legal function. He will make all the legal responsibility. He will take the decision on that, and he will also make the social interactions with the pupils. Means they go to the wedding of the subordinate and all. So that is called a figurehead function. The manager perform as a figurehead role in organizations. Second one is the leadership. Leadership, as you know, the manager lead, guide, motivate the subordinate to work in a more efficient and the effective way. Here the manager perform as a function of leader. He is a leader. He always lead, guide, motivate the subordinate to perform the work in a more efficient and the effective way. Then the third one, liaison role. Liaison role means the manager perform the liaison role in order to assess the external environment of competition, and they make their own external information system, because the manager who is performing in an organization, he should have a knowledge of what is going on in a market, what is going on outside the organization. So he will always what the competition is going on, so he have to see, and he will make on that basis, on the competition or the external environment, they make their own external information system through which they get all information and they take a right decision at the right time. The second one is a informational role. Informational role, under this role there are three roles. The variety of issues concern the organization's informational role. Monitoring role. First one is a monitoring role. The manager constantly monitoring and scanning both external as well as the internal environment. Means here he'll always constantly monitor and scanning the environment, that what is going on in an organization, within an organization and outside the organizations. On that basis he'll take any action or decision in organizations. Now in informational role, the second one, the B, is information disseminator role. Information disseminator role means here the manager transmit the information regarding any changes in the policies or the other matter in the organization, that if there is any change in the policy or the other matter in the organization, so the manager perform as a function of information disseminator, means spread out the information to all the member of the organization. Means there should be a proper communication. That is the information disseminator role. Spokesman role. We talk about the spokesman role, that here the managers perform the spokesman role for his unit and represent his unit, because here the manager will perform, manager have a spokesman person, and he always speak for his unit. He always give all the information regarding the organization, regarding anything, and he is also a representative of his unit. Now third one is a decisional role. Under this there are four roles. On the basis of the external information received, the manager must take the decision and solve the organization problem. Here the first one is a entrepreneur role. Entrepreneur role means the manager also perform the entrepreneur role for improving their unit, because he is not only a manager in organization, he is also a owner of the organization, and he will perform the entrepreneur role, that if they have to make any improvement in a product, they do. If they want to make any modification, they do on the basis of the competitions going on. So they will perform as a role of improving their unit as an entrepreneur. Second one, B is the conflict handling or the problem solver role. On the basis of the external information received, the manager must make the decision and solve the organization problem. There is any problem in our organizations, so on that basis, the external information they have received, on that basis they will solve the problem in organizations. And if there is any conflict in organizations, he will also perform the role as a conflict handler or the problem solver in organizations. C, the resources allocator. The manager make the budgetary allocation. As you know, the budget is most important factor, that is most necessary for any organizations, because we have to allocate the budget to the different department of organization. If we are starting any organization, so here the manager will make the arrangement of the budget and allocate the budget to the different department on the basis of their need, that the scarcity of the resources. On that basis, he will allocate the budget. That take an example, we have a lot of department, finance department, marketing department, HR department, IT department. So the resources, the manager will make the resources allocator as a budgetary allocator or the budget allocator. He will distribute a different he will distribute a money to a different department. That is a resources allocator role. Last but not the least, negotiator role. The manager represents the organizations in negotiating deal and agreement within and outside the organization. So here the manager will also perform a negotiator role, because he is also a good negotiator, and he will negotiate the deal within the organization, outside as well as outside the organization. So he will make the negotiation with the supplier, he will make the negotiation with the customers outside the organization, and he will also make the negotiations with the within the organizations, like with the subordinate, with the manager. He will also make a negotiation between the management and the subordinate. So he will always perform these roles. So this is all about my presentations. Thank you all.